Welcome back to another interview from the Draw Control podcast. This Saturday, the fifth ranked Florida Gators will be traveling to take on an old conference rival in James Madison, which is one of our games of the week. To help us get ready for this great matchup, I have the pleasure to be interviewing sophomore defender from the Gators, Sam Hughes. Last season, Sam helped the Gators to a Final Four appearance and an American Athletic Conference championship. This season, Sam has started in all four games for Florida and has racked up two ground balls and three caused turnovers. Thank you so much, Sam, for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming on the podcast today. And how is everything going?
Very good. Season just starting up and it's like a great thing to do. And being on this podcast is awesome, giving back to the game. So just really excited to be here.
Yeah, well, your team is off to a great start with a 3-1 record, including a win on the road against 11th ranked John Hopkins. What have you taken away from your team's performance so far this season?
I would say done pretty well. Like this season, we lost probably 17 seniors last year. So we're kind of rebuilding our team right now. And I think that we're doing a great job of that, hardworking people on the team. And we're working hard every single practice. And I think this team this year has great chemistry on the field. So just growing that throughout the season, I think that it's going pretty well. As seen in the Johns Hopkins game, I think that went really good for our team.
Yeah, what's it been like building chemistry with your new teammates, like the upcoming freshmen and transfers? And what's it been like adjusting to a little bit of a different role compared to last season?
I mean, I think that the seniors last year, they kind of like showed us the culture of Florida, which is having everyone on the team be very close. And it's like having these freshmen on the team is a great addition. Every recruitment that we have every year, it's like the coaches recruit the people that we need on the team and they have hardworking like abilities. So like everyone has the same common goals. So I think that brings like chemistry to the team. We have fun on and off the field. So this really brings like chemistry to us. And then adjusting to a different role this year, I think that everyone on the team does what's needed for the team. If it's a scout player being on the field, so adjusting to being on the field this year, I think was like a little nerve-wracking at first, obviously, but we have our team around us and having my awesome defense around me just is like very helpful.
Yeah. What would you say has been like the biggest improvement you've made to your game so far this season?
This so far this season, I would say my IQ with defense. Coming in last year, I was a midfielder in high school all throughout my youth and high school. So getting IQ on the defensive end, and having a great coach, Reggie Thorpe, like giving me the real like IQ behind it, I think that that's really improved my game and just having more confidence on the field. Being an incoming freshman is just scary for some people coming in and in high school, we didn't have a freshman year. So this last year was my first time being a freshman. So I think that overall, just having more confidence is what's really grown.
Now, what are your thoughts heading into Saturday's game against JMU? It must be weird knowing that this isn't a conference game compared to what took place last season.
Yeah, I think heading into the JMU game, our team is kind of treating it the same. They're still like one of our rivals, I would say. And then like being in a different conference to them doesn't make any difference to us. We're still gonna go out there, we're gonna play our best. We're gonna try to get that W, which hoping we will.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a new conference, I know you haven't played in any Big 12 games yet, but what are your thoughts about joining a new conference and the new teams you get to play? Any particular game that you're most excited about? I assume it's probably Colorado
Yeah.
based on since you're from there, but
Yeah.
maybe it's another team that I'm not thinking of.
I think joining a new conference is like really interesting and it's fun for us. We get to travel to new places, see new teams, new faces. Obviously, yes, I'm most excited to play Colorado. I know a lot of people down there. So, me and Nicole both came from Colorado before Florida. So, I think it's just going to be an awesome game, good rivalry, and yeah, I'm excited to see family and friends come to my game, get that support from them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's transition now and talk about the beginning of your lacrosse career and sort of work all the way up to where you are now with Florida. So, like we kind of mentioned before, you're from Castle Rock, Colorado. Talk about growing up there and how did you start playing lacrosse?
When I was younger, lacrosse was not even close to where it is in Colorado now. So I started when I was in second grade. And I started just playing every single sport when I was younger, just trying everything out. And lacrosse kind of stuck with me. I stayed with it. And when I was younger, when we were playing, it was you'd go through each year and it'd be the whole roster left. This sport is too hard. They're gonna go move to volleyball or basketball. And so I was sticking through lacrosse, every year we would learn how to cradle, learn how to do our ground balls. So just like growing up in Colorado, I think it was different, obviously, than like the East Coasters. But, the game has grown out there and it's just so awesome to see that. But yeah, when I was younger, it was very different than the common lacrosse player.
Yeah, who were some of your favorite teams and players that you like to watch growing up?
I was a big fan of Boston College and Bell Smith and Charlotte North were my I was big fans of them. But I love their like hard work and like determination. Like you can always see on the field. Like if they make a mistake, they're gonna get back and get that ball. So that's something I really loved about them. And I like got to meet them at the U18 development team. So I thought that was awesome. They were super nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, usually a lot of people say don't meet your heroes, but that's good that your
Yeah.
heroes were really nice to you, so you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that. Now, before college, you played for your high school for Castleview High. What was your high school lacrosse experience like, and what's your like favorite high school lacrosse memory looking back on it now?
Yeah, my high school experience at Castleview, it was awesome. Again, we missed that freshman year, but we got back into it the rest of the years. I was like playing with my best friends, so it was overall a blessing to play with them. We were kind of like the underdogs, Castleview coming in, and we ended up doing really good, all the way sophomore, junior, senior year. And my favorite lacrosse memory from high school, I would say, is we played Thompson Valley my sophomore year against a good team. They have Aiden Carr on that team that is a draw girl for Pitt. And my teammate was doing an 8 meter. We had about 3 seconds left in the game. The ball hit the pipe, and then I picked it up and scored. And we went into overtime, and that was just like a great memory I have from that team.
Now, you also played club lacrosse for 3D. How did your club lacrosse experience sort of help prepare you for college?
Oh, I mean, like I had an amazing coach. He is amazing. His name is Mike O'Neill, and he just really kept us like going through all that stuff every day at practice. He always did what was best for us. Like when I started playing club lacrosse in seventh grade, moved to 3D in eighth grade, and we were at practice one day, and our coach said, "Do you guys want to leave?" Because it was like snowing to our team. We're like, "No, we want to stay." And we got on the line and we started running sprints. So I think he kind of showed us like the grit and determination it takes. He would always be like, "Oh, like we got to be ready for this weather. We're going out East Coast this weekend." So he kind of just like helped us with all of that, and he always had our best interest at heart. And then playing with the players in Colorado, like it's hard to find talent out there, but recently it's been going up, and my team had a lot of good people going to UNC, Marquette. So we had top players on that team that I could go against that would make me better every single day. And like that team is like my family. So I think that kind of showed me like that each team you are on is going to be different, but they're still going to be your family like through and through. So I think that was like a probably one of my favorite experiences in lacrosse is being on 3D Colorado. Still love them to this day. Just got to play my best friend Betty Nelson on UNC, so it's just it really prepared me for college, I would say.
Yeah, well, you got to play with many great players during your club lacrosse experience, one of those being Stanford freshman Sawyer Billings. What was it like playing with her and being her teammate and just playing with all those other Division One commits like you mentioned?
It was great. Playing with Sawyer is just amazing. She is such a hard worker. And sometimes like when you're younger, girls don't like when you're going hard against them on defense or they yell at you or whatever. Sawyer was never like that. She like always was liking what I was doing playing defense on her because it was making her better and making her ready for college. So I would say that she's just a great player and that like my D was making her better and her offense was making me better. So we just went through that every single day. And then we still meet up. All of the 3D lacrosse team, we all meet up for Concept College, which is it's like every time we come back from break and we still work and we get those reps in while we're at home. So yeah.
Now, you also played basketball growing up as well. How did that sport help you in lacrosse, especially from the defensive side of things?
I think basketball helps so much. It helped me on defense. When I was growing up, playing lacrosse, it was like Sam is the defensive midi. Like she is gonna play the best defense she can at any time. And when in basketball, it's like you're playing the same defense, you just don't have a stick. So you got to use your feet a lot more. So I think that it really helped the footwork and the two-man games especially because you get to see both sides of the ball. So if a defender is playing basketball, then they have to do offense and defense. So they see what the offense is going to do. So I think it really does help with that, and it just helps with confidence overall.
Now, you got to be part of the U18 USA development team, like you mentioned before. What was it like
Yeah.
being a part of that team and representing your country?
It's always a blessing like representing the red, white, and blue. It's such a great experience playing with all those top level players of your grade. And it's just amazing to see how fast that team would click because they all have one common goal to be the best at the sport. And they had a lot of other things besides the games. They had like mental health sections. They would tell us to be where our feet were. So I think that it really helped in a lot of aspects of the game. And it was just such a great experience to be there at US Lacrosse, the facility. And yeah, I would love to play on that team again. It was amazing. But it's a long process to get there. We have three different sections to get up. You have the first tryout, the training camp, and then you have the actual games. So, it's means a lot to play for that team.
Now, let's get into your recruiting process now. What was that like for yourself, and what made you want to go to Florida versus other schools you might have looked at?
For me, it was always Florida. Like when I was younger, I went to this one tournament, and me and my mom drove down to go see University of Florida. And I was just in love with the school immediately. I wanted to go there. And my mom was actually worried. She's like, I don't know, like, what's gonna happen. Like, I hope she doesn't get her heart broken. But, I was chasing them at camps every weekend. I would be living in Maryland basically for my whole sophomore summer. Weeks at a time trying to get recruited and go to these top schools. But I was always looking for like, the sports recruits. Like I want them to click on my profile, I want them to see me. And it all really clicked when I went to the actual Florida camp. I think that's when that like they really saw me. And then going into like September 1st, obviously that's like really nerve-wracking for a player, especially from not from the East Coast. They're usually looking more East Coast. Now, obviously, they're looking at Colorado more, but Reggie actually sent me a text as soon as he could on September 1st, and I immediately started crying. I didn't know what to say or like to do, and I went to the bathroom actually, and he called me while I was in the bathroom, and I was like freaking out because I didn't know what to do. And then, I went on the visit and I knew that's where I wanted to be. I talked to other coaches, obviously, but I didn't go on any other visits. I wanted to commit on the spot, but my club coach told me that it was in my best interest to wait and see. But, I knew I wanted to be there since day one.
Yeah. And the weather must be an added bonus
Yeah,
too.
it's so nice. It's like really sunny out right now.
Now, what was like the biggest adjustment you had to make to college lacrosse?
I would say like the level of play, it's different. You can be more aggressive on defense and completely switching my position was obviously another big transition I had to make playing midfield my whole life. As I said, like getting into the defensive role, I think was a big change for me. But yeah, I was needed in different spots in Colorado than I was here, so I think that was the biggest change.
Now, you got to win the AAC Championship your freshman year. What did that mean to you, winning that for the first and only time in your lacrosse career?
Yes.
And what was it just like being a part of that great Florida team?
It was such an amazing experience. I'm so grateful for the seniors. They always treated us with respect, and like kept us in the loop, always had us around. But it kind of showed the standards of Florida lacrosse, I would say, and how like we need to stay on that level every single year. We want to stay on that level. We work hard and we want to live up to those expectations that the seniors laid out for us, but like go above that every single year. So yeah.
And the NCAA tournament run your team went on was magical to say the least. Talk about what that experience was like for you, especially going to the Final Four and beating a really good Maryland team on the road.
That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. A lot of people don't get to go to the Final Four. So going my freshman year was just amazing. And, you know, I think our team kind of going into playoffs, I think that we were a little upset with the rankings. We think we should have been ranked or whatever, but I think that kind of like lit a fire under us that we wanted to show everyone that we are a top team that should not be overlooked. But I think that just made everyone work so much harder and we don't ever want to be doubted. So last year we came up with like a little saying, it's called STP. It's like something to prove. Like we always have something to prove. We always want to get better. So I think showing everyone and going to the Final Four is just an amazing experience. Like, I mean, I want to go back to that every single year.
Yeah, no, for sure, especially this year with it being in the same location as the men, so I assume it's going to be a fun
Yeah,
event.
it'd be crazy.
Now, let's get into a segment that I like to call the non-lacrosse segment, where I ask you some non-lacrosse questions to get to know you more off the field. First one is, what is the best concert you've ever been to?
It's gotta have to be a Justin Bieber concert I went to when I was really young. I'm a believer at heart, so that was probably my favorite concert I've ever been to.
Nice, nice. I do like a lot of his newer, I guess,
Yeah,
stuff, like the "What Do You Mean" album, whatever that's called.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
really good record.
It's like he's got good music.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Now, what is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
See, this is like a kind of hard one for me, but I was driving in Gainesville this past week and I actually saw that we were getting a Dutch Rose. So that was very exciting because it's something I have in Colorado, so making it
I've never
feel
even
like
heard of
home.
that, to be honest
Dutch
with you.
Rose.
Nope,
It's like
never heard
a
of it.
it's a coffee and like they have like Red Bull drinks and it's really good.
Nice. Well, glad you have a little piece of home in Florida. That must be
Yeah.
nice. So, now let's talk about some of the teammates that you get to play with. Who has the best style off the field on the Florida women's lacrosse team, besides yourself, obviously?
I would have to say my goalie, Georgia Hoy. She has really good style.
Now, which player on the Florida women's lacrosse team would you want to be on a long road trip with?
I'm gonna have to say my best friend and my roommate, Kay Isaacson. We actually already took one after the NCAA Final Four last year. We drove back to her home state, Ohio. So that was a 14, 15-hour drive. So I have to say her.
Nice. What'd you guys do to pass the time? Just listen to music or like sleep or whatever?
I was sleeping. It was my birthday that day, so we were taking a road trip on my birthday.
Nice, nice. Definitely a birthday to remember,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
And then last teammate question is who's the funniest on the Florida women's lacrosse team?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to say Teresa Bragg or Caitlin Davies. They're always making me laugh.
Now, what is one show you can binge watch all day?
I'm gonna have to say Jersey Shore. Me and my roommates watch that all of fall and it just makes us laugh.
Last non-lacrosse question is what is one place you would love to travel to soon?
I really want to go to Greece. It's somewhere that like I would want to go on my senior trip with my friends. So I think that'd be an awesome trip to go on.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's 2 years away, so maybe start planning a little bit now so you can be ready, I
Yeah.
guess. Now, let's get back to a couple of lacrosse questions now. First one is what should be done to help grow women's lacrosse from your perspective?
I think that like things like this, social media things are definitely growing the sport a lot. And then also like expanding the sport to like the West Coast would obviously help. It's gotten bigger, but it can get to the East Coast level, I think. And then I think that like they're doing a very good job right now with having the pro leagues come out and everything like that. But yeah, I think that expanding it overall would really help grow the sport.
Now, what advice would you give younger lacrosse players who are listening to this episode on what it takes to be in college or to play in a college team like yourself?
I first off would say that you have to love the game. Like you have to have love for this game or you're not going to get through these 4 years of college because you're not doing something you love every single day, then you're not going to want to do that. But overall, just working hard every day, missing out on those things, those birthday parties, those things that you want to go to when you're younger. Just going to everything you can, especially like as I said earlier, when I was a sophomore in high school, I was on the East Coast for th weeks at a time. So just giving it all you have, and then if you get to this level, just work hard and keep doing what you're doing. Show love for the sport.
Now, last question I have for you, Sam, is do you have any shout outs you want to give to any of your family members, mom, dad, siblings, our teammates, and who should we have on the podcast next?
I'll shout out my mom and my dad, obviously. They're moving to actually Sarasota right now, so they'll be out in Florida. Shout out to my teammates and my coaches, working hard every single day. Love being with them. And then someone I think that would be great for this podcast is Betty Nelson. She would, bring it. She's doing great at UNC right now. Just had a career high of 9 saves. So I think that she'd be awesome on this podcast.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on. I really appreciate it. We enjoyed talking with you, and obviously, we wish you all the best for Saturday's game.
Thank you so much. Had a great time.